Again, good morning, Milton.
Good morning.
What a fabulous day. What an awesome fall day here to be in our community with so many good people and our veterans. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. This does me such great cheer every year because I know that Milton supports its veterans every day. But I couldn't be prouder than being your director today because it's a great day to be in Milton. So we're going to start. First, I asked the color guards to post the colors. Nope. Milton High Chorus will perform our national anthem, followed by Lift Every Voice and Sing. For veterans, when the national anthem plays, you may salute even if you are not in uniform.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's flash, whose much strength and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets red glare, the most bursting in and through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
We'll now have an invocation by Reverend Hall Kirkham, Rector, St. Michael's Episcopal Church of Milton.
Holy One of the present moment, who stills the storm and brings release, we pray your hope and strength and courage to all who have for their country entered battle on land and sea and air, and healing to all who dwell still in the shadows that linger. Bring them the hope of arms no longer firing, but arms opened to them and welcome to a place that offers them peace, and of hands that reach not to take and destroy, but to bring them the balm of their healing from their people and the place they call home. Bring them the strength and the courage to endure whatever cannot be avoided in their returning, that they may not walk alone, but alongside worthy companions in their journey. Bring us each to believe in the deepest parts of our hearts that violence brings nothing but resolve for more violence, and that guns, which fell silent this day and this hour, 105 years ago can indeed fall silent forever. We know that your will for us is health and wholeness. You are the Holy One after all, and we need you. Amen.
Amen. At this point, we normally have an acknowledgement of dignitaries, and we will. But I want to also first dedicate today's ceremony to one of our best veterans and one who will be sorely missed. This week, Frank Stout, American Legion and veteran, who was the foundation of this ceremony for many, many, many years, passed away. And I'd like to share his obituary with you at this point because I want to make sure Frank was remembered, because he gave me so much help at the beginning when I was brand new and I was just learning the ropes, and his help was immense. We stand on the shoulders of giants, members of the American Legion and others who made sure that this ceremony was done right, and it was done every year to honor our veterans. And I could not be here today without Frank's help. Frank Joseph Stout of Milton died at Tufts Medical Center, Boston, after a period of failing health. He was 83 years old. He was born in Boston, December 22nd, 1939, the son of the late Frank A. Stout and Virginia M. Downey Stout. A lifelong resident of Milton, Frank was a graduate of BC High in 1957 and the College of the Holy Cross, class 1962, where he played football. He then proudly served his country in the United States Army. An insurance salesman by profession, Frank was an active member of the Milton community, town meeting member, and a member of the Milton American Legion Post 114. For many years, Frank participated and organized Memorial Day and Veteran Day ceremonies in Milton. He was a proud supporter, a proud American who supported all veterans and members of the U.S. military. Frank was a longtime coach of the Milton Little League, founding member of the popular Yaz League in Milton. He's a devoted and loving husband to his wife Marlene of 48 years, and supportive father to his son Michael, priding himself by never missing a game or activity that Michael participated in. He was a doting papa to CJ, Mikey, and Olivia, who cherished every moment they spent with him, and as they are true treasures. He loved his extended family and enjoyed many true lasting friendships. Frank was a person who wanted to help everyone. A Mass of Christian burial will be celebrated in Our Lady of Visitation Parish, St. Elizabeth's Church, 350 Reedsdale Road, Milton, on Monday, November 13th at 12:30 p.m. Visiting hours are at Dolan Funeral Home, 460 Granite Ave, East Milton Square, Sunday from 2 to 5. Frank would want nothing more than to honor the memory of his daughter-in-law Jessica, and Blue Flowers memorial contributions can be sent as her name to the HLRCC Foundation. And the Dolan Funeral Home has the obituary, so you may do it through the Dolan Funeral Home. I'd like a moment of silence, please, for our good friend, Frank Stout. Thank you. We honor our dignitaries today, and I want to give some shout outs to some of the people and supporters of today's ceremony. Senator Walter Timilty will be joining us later on, who I saw in Randolph this morning. Representative William Driscoll, Representative Fluker Oakley, Mike Zulis, Chairman of the Milton Select Board, Aaron G. Bradley, Vice Chair of our Select Board, Roxanne Musto, Benjamin Zoll, and Richard Wells, all members of the Select Board. Nicholas Milano, Town Administrator. Our Milton Cemetery trustees, Jim Coyne and his board. Lisa Ahern, our Milton Cemetery Superintendent. She's doing an amazing job down there, and I highly encourage you to spend time at Milton Cemetery. It is one of our jewels of the community. Our keynote speaker today is Professor Scott Smith, Captain, U.S. Navy, retired, and also teaching presently at the Naval War College in Newport, Rhode Island. Town moderator, Robert Hiss, Clergy Member Reverend Kirkham Hall, Jim Davis and his Boy Scouts. Where's my Boy Scouts? Awesome. Good job. American Legion Post 114 Commander Paul McDonald, former Legion Post 114 member Frank Stout, Milton's Gold Star families, and our veterans and their families. You have our honor, our respect, and our thanks for all you do.
It's not very loud. It's hard to hear.
I'm trying. I don't want to blow you out. How's that? Is that better? Okay. Usually people don't have a problem with hearing me. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. At this point, I'd like to introduce the Select Board Chair, Mike Zulis, with some welcome remarks on behalf of the town of Milton.
Veterans and first responders, elected officials, reverend clergy, other distinguished guests, our performers from Milton Public High School, Boy Scouts who are with us, and friends and neighbors. We assemble today to celebrate service, the dedicated service of our veterans throughout our nation's history. We celebrate our veterans' faithful service to our nation, to their families, to their friends and neighbors, and to the ideas upon which this nation is grounded. While our nation is unique in many ways, it is most unique in what binds us together. Other nations are bound by an identity, a common ethnic background, a common religion, or an historical allegiance to a monarchy. We don't have any of that. Our United States was and is different. What we have, what binds us, are our ideas. Our nation was founded on ideas that were radical at the time: freedom, equality, opportunity, and the most radical, the belief that we could govern ourselves in a democracy. Those are the ideas that we continue to strive towards. It is our veterans who protect and defend our work towards fulfilling those ideas. Our nation is not based on who people are or what their identity is, but on what they believe. And it is our veterans who protect and defend those beliefs. Alexander Hamilton, who's gained more fame recently, summed up the American experiment as whether we could be capable of establishing good government from reflection and choice. It is our veterans who protect and defend those choices. Ultimately, it is the service of our veterans, those who have gone before and those who are still with us, who have made it all possible. That is why we owe to them our greatest and our deepest gratitude. Through their service, our veterans have protected and defended our citizens, our nation, and their work towards fulfilling those ideas that bind us together. On behalf of the Select Board, welcome. Thank you for being here. And if you will give us a moment, please join us in thanking all of our veterans.
On our today, it all mentions the Project 351. I'm going to have to admit that because we did not have a 351 ambassador today. There's a lot going on, so unfortunately we will not have the 351 proclamation. But I can tell you that the proclamation is a message from the governor, and she wants us to know that she's supportive of our veterans and that all our communities are together, united. Massachusetts is #1 in the nation for veteran support. We have local veterans agents, we have local assistance, we have assistance from the state. In almost no other state could you go to your own community and find a local veterans agent working for the town to assist you. So we are #1 in the nation, and the governor wants to make sure everyone's aware and that we celebrate that. So thank you. I'm going to bring up some of my favorite people. Tucker Elementary, come on up here. I had some great experiences with Milton schools. I can't get up. Yep. Let's see. Okay, I got to hide behind the post. We were at Pierce Middle School this week with Joe Cardona and long snap of the Patriots and 2 other local veterans to celebrate our veterans. And it was a great experience. Dr. Fish, his people couldn't be better. And then on Thursday, I was down at Cunningham Elementary with Dr. Redden and their students, and another great ceremony. But Tucker Elementary has a warm spot in my heart because they did some of the first things I did when I came on board. And in fact, Tucker Elementary sent cards up to the State House for Veterans. When I was there, and Governor Baker actually had one of the cards and said, who are these from? So I stood up and said, Tucker Elementary, Milton, sir. And he goes, good. He goes, I'm going to put this in my office. So know that you reached into the governor's office at one time. Pretty. So every year I like to have them come along. I love our chorus. The band does an amazing job. They're state champions. They fought for the state championship. I didn't get to follow, but I know that you guys are at the top of the cream of the crop. But I like to give our other students a chance to come and do a little help for us. And they're going to sing My Country 'Tis of Thee, which is America. You ready, guys? All right, give it your best. Oh, okay. Come on ahead. Yeah, we did roam. Come with me. We did roam right by the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm sorry, and I apologize. So you're going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Absolutely. And your name? Okay, and you're from Cunningham Elementary? Awesome. What grade? What do you want to be? Don't know. Okay, good choice. All right, you ready? Okay, put your hand on your heart.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice forever.
Thank you. Awesome job. I got something for you. In the military, let's step back behind the speaker so we don't blow everybody out the door. In the military, when people do a really important job and it's really too many things in my pocket. There we go. I got it. It's in the bottom of the pants pocket too. There we go. All right. This is live television. Things happen. This is the Town of Milton Challenge coin. It is a military sign of recognition of a job done, one person to another. The people sign that you did an awesome job today, so thank you. I should have had that ready, but unfortunately it was jammed in the suit pocket. And I appreciate you having patience with me. So now we're going to get to something that's very important, something that I wanted to do for a number of years, and I was looking for the right opportunity, because we want to have visible reminders besides monuments and other things that show us our veterans in our community. So we chose hometown hero banners because I had a couple people come to me over the years and say, we should do that. And I said, yep, I agree. And it just, other things kind of happened. Sue Galvin, our town clerk, called me and said, there's a lady here we need to talk, need your help. And I got to meet Bridget and Bridget Rafferty and her husband Terry, and they told me about Vincent. Vincent was from Randolph, from Milton. He grew up here. He went to schools here. Vincent decided to go into the Marines. And when he did, he gave it his all. 20 years. And he served in many, many places that'll never be known and never written. Enduring freedom, Iraqi freedom, he was out at the of the spear. Bridget, his mother, came to me and told me about Vincent. He retired after 20 years in the Corps, serving our nation, handling the most difficult tasks. And after he retired, he was on a car trip and sadly was killed in an automobile accident. I want to make sure that Vincent's legacy never leaves our memory. Bridget gave me a copy of his discharge so that I may review it. And while I can't read everything that's on it, I want to read a few things just so you understand how important it is that we remember Gunnery Sergeant Vincent Rafferty. This is under the box 13, which is his decorations, medals, and awards. Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal. Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal, 6 awards. Combat Action Ribbon, classified. Presidential Unit Citation from the Navy. Navy Unit Commendation, 3. Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal, 6. That's pretty good for a Marine, 6. That means he didn't get caught 6 times. With 2 stars. Global War on Terrorism, Expeditionary Medal, classified, and Global War on Terrorism. Vincent was one of our finest warriors, dealing with the most terrible situations and serving our nation. So when I heard Bridget's and Vincent's story, I decided at that moment we needed to make sure that Vincent was the first hometown hero banner. So as you can see behind you, in front of our town hall, that is our first hometown hero banner. Jack Calabro and the great staff of the DPW helped me get that up on Thursday. It was raining. It was a difficult task, but we want to make sure that Vincent is the first person we honor with our hometown heroes. Part of the program that we have with our sign maker is there'll be a banner like this, and when we have 75 places to place them that we've been able to figure out. We're going to add some more, hopefully, but we'll also change them out occasionally because we want people to see different banners, and I don't want them to be weathered or to stay out too long and deteriorate. But with the banner, the family member will get a smaller version to take home. And today I want to present this to Bridget for you, and on behalf of all we thank Vincent for, and all we thank you for sharing it with us. Terry, his father, also here today. I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you they're from Ireland, and I consider them my kinmen because I'm from Ireland. My family came right out of the sod. And Irish have given so many men and women to our defense. Hundreds of thousands of Irish men and women came here simply because they wanted to be part of America and help us defend our nation. So we're going to honor Vincent and others with our hometown hero banners. We wanted to start this sooner, but there was some technical difficulties. And I'm going to get into a little bit of that right at this moment just for you so you understand. What we're going to do is we're going to ask people to send in their information to my office to fill up the other banners and make sure your family member or your veteran is honored. I'm going to be taking a medical leave, and I will be gone until January. So we're going to suspend this program until January. I'll put out a press release again and ask people to send information starting in January. Unfortunately, the after effects of my time in Fallujah are still with me. 19 years ago, at this very moment, I was engaged in combat in Iraq with the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force as we fought the Battle of Fallujah. It follows me. So, unfortunately, I'm going to take some time off and work with my doctor. And he said he thinks we're going to be okay, and I know we're going to be okay. So I'll be away from my office for about 7 weeks. During that time, we'll have coverage from Randolph. There's an assistant VSO, Al Williams, who will help me. I wanted to read something to you, and I know everyone's standing, and it's a long time, but I think it's important. My glasses. My glasses in my pocket. PTSD is not an easy thing to define, and it's not an easy thing for people to understand who don't have it, or maybe not understand what it's about. So I looked for a lot of information, and there's a very good author. His name is Sebastian Junger. He wrote The Perfect Storm. Well, he also wrote a book called War, and it details his experiences of 6 months in the Korangal Valley of Afghanistan. A terrible place. They were on these hilltops, and literally there were men on the hilltop 1,000 feet above them, just dropping stuff in on them. There's no way to defend themselves. You can't build any kind of protection, and they're fighting. So one of the medics got killed, and his name was Restrepo. And if you know anything about the military, Doc is probably one of the guys in the unit that everybody really needs. So when he got killed, it really hurt those guys. Well, they decided in the middle of the night to go up to the hilltop where the guys were throwing stuff down at them and build a brand new location there and name it Restrepo after the Doc. So in the middle of the night, they hiked 1,000 feet up, axes, picks, shovels, sandbags, and carved out a niche on the top of that hill to protect their brothers down below. Sebastian wrote about PTSD, and I'd like to just read his words, because this way you'll have a better understanding of some of the things that men who have and women who have PTSD from combat are dealing with it. It was a quiet day at Restrepo, and nothing much was happening. I was leaning against some sandbags, and suddenly dirt flew into my face. What you have to understand is that bullets go much faster than the sound of a gunshot. So if someone's shooting at you from a few hundred yards or a quarter mile away, the way you know you're getting shot at first is you hear this really bizarre and subtle snapping sound. It is the bullet breaking the speed of sound by your head, and then the gunshots come afterwards. So when you get ambushed, the first thing that happens is everyone kind of looks around with a frown on their face and says, "Are we getting shot at?" And that's the first thought. And then you hear the bap, 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 and it's clear what's happening. A bullet had hit to me on a sandbag, and it was the round of the first burst of an hour-long firefight, and it sprayed dirt in my face. I had no idea what it was, and the first thing I was like, God, what was that? It's all random. When you realize how random it is, psychologically you don't know what to do. Do I sit here? Do I sit there? It's kind of like an existential crisis. It calls everything into question. So the footage you see of a bomb going off under a Humvee, and I was in it. I shot that footage. And it was really bizarre and traumatic because none of us got hurt. We were fine physically. And for the next few hours, I remember I was on this weird high. Like I couldn't sit still. I was excited, amped up. And then that night, it crashed. I got incredibly depressed. I didn't get scared. I got sad. Sad about the whole thing. It's very easy to sit there and say, oh, war's terrible. It's very easy to say that, but it's sad. And you kind of know, at least I know, that in the abstract, in an intellectual way, the experience of war is many things. It's scary, it's exciting, it's profound, it's disturbing. It's every human emotion all at once. And that's what PTSD is. I couldn't sum it up better. So, I want to let you know that I will be back in January. I will be here for Milton's veterans. But like any great warrior, I got to know when it's time to step off the field and care for myself. So I appreciate your support. Don't worry. I'll see you in January. Okay? And if anyone needs me, you know how to find me. Thank you. It's now my privilege to introduce our featured speaker. I'm so lucky to have War College in Newport. They give us some great speakers and some great people with experience who can speak on things that they saw during the war and how it affected them. So we have today Professor Scott Smith, Captain, United States Navy, retired. He served for 32 years on ships from the Cold War to Enduring Freedom and commanded 2 of those ships. He's one of the only naval officers who was indicted honorarily and made a member of the 506th Infantry Regiment, the Band of Brothers. So please welcome Professor Scott Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, fellow veterans, good morning. We gather today to commemorate Veterans Day, a day dedicated to honoring the unbroken line of those who have served our nation in peace and in strife since our humble beginnings in towns such as Milton. I have a confession to make, though. I am new to considering myself a veteran. I only retired last year, and I'd always considered veterans as those who had served, like my father and his father before him, rather than those still serving. And while that distinction is technically inaccurate, there is something to it. The word veteran finds its origin in the Latin veteranus, which means in long use. And with my fellow shipmates who bent the hard yards and across the 7 seas, I confess that I felt, probably like many of you here, long used. But there was an even stronger feeling, that of being useful. Rudyard Kipling wrote these lines about this powerful feeling. My eyes grown old with staring through the sunwash on the brine. I am made in full for service, with that service still for mine. Our service provides us a sense of purpose, a common ordeal and ideal. And this, my fellow citizens, is the importance of Veterans Day. The opportunity to slow down, gather, and ponder the meaning of service, and to reflect on our common bonds. Milton, like countless communities across America, has a long tradition of sending its sons and daughters to safeguard our freedoms and defend and promote our ideals. From the battlefields of Lexington and Concord to the mountains of Afghanistan, Miltonians have stood shoulder to shoulder with their fellow Americans in these actions. They have patrolled the seas, the skies, and space to preserve and defend a set of principles enshrined in our Constitution. But as long as we've had these ideals, there have been opponents. When then Senator John F. Kennedy spoke in Milton in 1957,
he described a fight against the forces of communism. But he indicated that this Cold War represented only the latest iteration of a fight that had raged for thousands of years. The battle of good against evil. Something he referenced as the stern encounter. In these encounters, our veterans have demonstrated unwavering courage, integrity, and selflessness. Ideals that lie at the heart of the American experiment. It was this spirit of service and sacrifice that the French political philosopher Alexis de Tocqueville found so unique and powerful as he toured the United States in the early 1800s. He observed the volunteerism and civic engagement that animated communities in the United States, qualities that he saw as essential to the success of our nation. So powerful are these motivating qualities that even when veterans finish their military service, they often find new ways to serve, just as Gunnery Sergeant Vincent Rafferty did in the justice system. Today, as we honor our veterans, let us remember Kennedy's warning of the stern encounter. But let us also be buoyed by the uniquely American response to win this perpetual battle. Assembled here, surrounded by the legacy of Milton's fallen heroes and the living legends who stand amongst us. Let us honor our veterans not only as individuals, but also for what they represent, the values of meaning and purpose in service. As veterans, let us continue to work to personify and perpetuate those same values. I speak for our fellow citizens when I thank our veterans and your families for your sacrifices in toil and in strife, and for exemplifying what it means to serve. May God bless you all and our United States of America. Thank you.
President, walk away. We have a challenge coin for you also, my friend. Thank you for coming us. Thank you, Milton. All right, we've heard enough talking. Now we get to hear our awesome chorus. And they're going to do the Armed Forces medley. Service members, when you hear your emblem or your song, please stand and salute if you feel up to it. a song that they can in turn have. I think Rocket Man by like Elton John would be perfect for the Space Force. But we're gonna have a moment of silence in memory of all our POWs and MIAs. If you have a chance and you get a ride out to Hudson to the military museum out there, there is a cell, a recovered jail cell, the Hanoi Hilton at that museum. You can go into the cell and stand inside that cell for a moment, and they have an amazing display. And for a moment, you get a sense of what it felt like to be in that cell, knowing that you were being held captive and that you weren't going home anytime soon. We still have many, many members of our military who have never been recovered, but our government will not stop until we find all of them. We're under 1,600 for Vietnam right now, which is an amazing feat. At one time, there were thousands missing, more, and now we're down to less than 1,600 members of our military are still unaccounted for. But there's over 8,000 from Korea, and I think close to 70,000 still from World War II, who we'll never be able to account for. So I ask, when you sit down and pray or think, you remember these men and women who endured captivity for years at our best and doing what they felt was right for our nation. Thank you. We'll now have a closing prayer from Reverend Kirk and Hall. Walter, I'm sorry. Jeez, I'm getting ahead of myself again. Sorry. Walter and I were together earlier today, and I get a little bit ahead of myself. But thank you, Walter, for all your support. I keep asking, when are we going to hear Governor Timilty? It's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Governor Timilty. I think it sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for your courage, as always. First of all, to the Rafferty family, thank you very much. Your son Vincent was and always will be an American hero. So thank you. You honored us with your presence today. And of course, to our police and fire honor guards, many of whom are veterans, thank you very much for being here to honor our veterans. Milton High Chorus and Marching Band, it is a privilege to follow you, and thank you for honoring our veterans. And to our scouts, to you, thank you for honoring our veterans as well. Of course, we gather here today to thank all of our brave veterans who have served or are serving in the United States Armed Forces. Our military veterans have protected our great nation in both peacetime and in time of war. Specifically today, our nation pays tribute to our military veterans with observations such as this, in this great town of Milton, to honor our heroes and heroines. This tribute should occur in some way each and every day across our great country. Moreover, our legendary armed forces has ensured our freedom, spanning more than 200 years, from the Revolutionary War to our Civil War, from the war to end all wars to World War II, from Korea, the first ever United Nations police action to stop communist aggression, and to Vietnam, where again, the forces of the United States stood up to the evils of the communist aggression, which Captain Smith, you alluded to earlier with the remarks of President Kennedy. Thank you, Captain. And finally, the ongoing war on terror, which our armed forces have been engaged in protecting this great country since September 11, 2001, in parts around the globe that we will never know. Some we will, and some we will never know. In each and every case, our veterans have taken an oath, stood a watch, put themselves in harm's way for each and every one of us. As President Kennedy once said, quote, "Let every nation know whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty." Our veterans have paid this price, borne this burden, met any and all hardships, have supported our allies around the globe, and strenuously opposed any and all foes of the liberties and democracy that we enjoy in this great country. Furthermore, President Kennedy said, democracy is never a final achievement. It is a call to untiring effort, to continual sacrifice, and to the willingness, if necessary, to die in its defense. Those statements from our late great President Kennedy define our veterans, and of course our veterans who made the ultimate sacrifice. Therefore, today, we give thanks to each and every veteran of our armed forces for demonstrating their willingness and their great American spirit to make that ultimate sacrifice, to take that oath, to put oneself in harm's way. With that, I thank each and every one of our veterans. To my fellow citizens here in this great town, thank you for turning out to honor our veterans. God bless this town of Milton. God bless each and every one of our veterans. God bless our Gold Star families. And God bless our families of our veterans. With that, Kevin Cole, thank you very much. And thank you all for being here.
Walter has been our greatest supporter, and anytime I need help with a veteran, I know I can pick up the phone and call him, or Bill Driscoll, or Rep. Carl. They're all great, and they all serve Milton. So now, correctly, in order, Reverend Kirk Hall for our closing prayer.
In a world that today is too dangerous for anything less than love, let compassion be active, not sentimental. May your eyes be so blessed you see holiness in everyone. Blessed ears hear the cries of the suffering and afraid. May your hands be so blessed that all you touch is a sacrament. Blessed lips speak hard truth to power with love. May your feet be so blessed that you stop and you turn and you run to all those in need. May your hearts be so open, so set on fire that your love, that our love, can go and change everything. And may the blessing of the one whose holiness creates us, that liberates us and sustains us, reside with us now and always. Amen.
This concludes our ceremony. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank every one of you for coming and supporting our veterans. I see it every day when you come by my office or we meet somewhere. I also want to thank you. This is my 8th ceremony, and we always have a little flub here, a little flub there, but that's what makes it special. The students, the police honor guard, the fire honor guard, every one of you who comes out and supports us has my thanks. I also want to wish you, from my family to yours, a very happy Thanksgiving, a very Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and may we all get together again next year, same time, same place, because I cannot thank you for being Milton's Veterans Agent. It is the greatest honor I have ever received. Thank you. We'll now have God Bless America by the Milton High School Marching Band. our ceremonies. Thank you so much. Have a great Veterans Day.
Thank you.
Thank you.